Yeah, we were doing our week-long bender that we did after we lose the season. We'd go party for a week with the team, right? And do stupid shit and have a good time and a send off for summer, right? And we got upset in the finals that year. Like I said, we were a pretty good team. We were supposed to, pretty much win the whole thing, and we got upset in the finals, and then whatever. And we went, we did this bender. We went camping on our second night, and I was just messing around with gas, and I was actually like filling up beer bottles full of gas and wine bottles, and I was basically like making bombs. And like I was a bit of a daredevil. No, I shouldn't say that. I was a daredevil, and I was a pyro, and I did stupid shit. I thought I was invincible, like any other 19-year-old kid, or maybe not any other, but a lot of 19-year-old young men. And yeah, I was just doing stupid shit, and I was walking around with two wine bottles full of gas in my sweater pocket, and I was waiting to like set them in the fire and let them explode. Right? It would kind of bubble out, or burrow, the flames would kind of burrow out, and then it would be like a explosion, and it would shoot 50 feet in the air, kind of thing. And but anyways, these bottoms hit. I had All of a sudden I'm soaking wet. I got gas all over myself, and yeah, like 5 minutes went by maybe, and I just reeked like gas. I had a liter and a half of gas spilled on myself, and I went to like throw my sweater in the fire of what I thought was a safe distance, and I just basically blew
Just
up, right?
caught and like caught you kind of thing?
Yeah, and I was drinking, and I wasn't thinking straight, obviously. And but yeah, I thought I kept with a safe distance from the fire, but you know, I didn't realize that, those fumes, they're dense and they settle around you, right? So I was like just basically like a walking bomb almost. And yeah, I just went up, and I just bolted. Like it was that flight response, and I just took off, which, in hindsight was the worst thing I could have done, because the guys were chasing me, yelling at me to stop. And you can't put out a gas fire, right? Without smothering it. So I'm like rolling around and trying to slap it off. And I don't, yeah, like people ask me, how long were you on fire for? And I don't know, too long for sure. And yeah, man, it was a crazy, crazy night. And then we were to make matters worse, we were in the middle of nowhere, no service. And so here I am, like I'm in bad shape. I remember like finally the guys tackled me, we put it out, and I just remember like everyone's faces just like jaws open, people were crying, and I remember looking at myself like, holy fuck, I've like this is not good. Like it was bad. And yeah, so anyways, we finally, one of the guy's girlfriends wasn't drinking. We got to the hospital, and my shock started wearing off, and I was freaking out. And then I just remember running into the emergency room at whatever time, ass naked, bleeding, dirty. Like I had rocks in my skin just because I was raw, right? And I was rolling around. There was no water or grass, which would have been obviously game life changing, right? But yeah, there was nothing to help other than the guys, slapping me with their jackets and smothering me. And yeah, I got airlifted to Vancouver Hospital a couple hours later and woke up, and that's when the whole this whole journey and recovery started for me. Um, but yeah, like if the first few days were pretty blurry. I don't remember a ton. I was pretty out of it. And then yeah, after a few days, once the doctors got a look under the bandages and they said, "Hey, here's what you're looking at," I was 40% second and third degree burns and wrapped like a mummy. And yeah, he kind of just started telling me what the recovery would look like. And it was a really mixed bag of emotions for me, because I'm like, I asked him, I'm like, well, we have our season starts in 4 months. And for me, like I hadn't talked to a single college. I had one more year of eligibility, right? And I was like, if I can just, add a little bit more of that offensive layer to my game, like I knew I could get a scholarship somewhere, right? Maybe it was Div 3 or whatever. And and I remember the doctor looked at me like, this fucking kid, poor kid, thinks he's gonna play hockey in 4 months. And he just said, listen, like you're gonna be in here a while, and I mean, you're not gonna play hockey in 4 months. Like maybe in a couple years, it's gonna be a long recovery. And like I was gonna be in, I was wear a full bodysuit for 2 years, with
Wow.
scarring. Yeah, and he just said, yeah, like let's just focus on the summer, and it's going to be a long one for you. And and like, yeah, let's not think about that. And so for me, it was like this, like I said, a mixed bag where I'm like, okay, close the book on that. Like my career is over. And again, not like I had a super promising one, right? Like I was really just chasing that scholarship, and like that was my NHL. If I could get a scholarship, then that was good for me. That's all I figured. That was my peak, right? Um, but and on the flip side, I was happy that I could live a relatively normal life. Like my face isn't going to be super scarred. It was like a really bad sunburn with some blisters, but they're like, you're not going to have any scarring. You're going to have some skin grafts everywhere else, but yeah, for the most part, you'll have a full recovery. It'll take a while, but and I was like, well, chicks dig scars, I guess, right? So here we go. And